And hello everybody. Now today we're starting off the speed build a little bit differently. This is the Evans family. They are part of my Let's Build the World save file. And you lovelies wanted me to build their dream home. So that is exactly what we're going to do today. So let's head on over, make a start. And here we are. Eden Farm is on its way to us, my darlings. So Eden Farm is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom farmhouse and homestead. So I've really wanted for these characters to be kind of self-sufficient and be able to just live off the fruits of their labor from their own land. So it's got some stables, it's got a cow shed, it's got chickens, it's got everything you would need to grow your own fruit and veg, including a greenhouse and like farmland out the back, all kind of like fenced in sort of crop fields. It's got bees to produce honey. That was a bit of a sentence for me to try and get out then. And what else has it got? It's probably got lots of other things and I just can't bloody remember. But here it is anyway. Sorry about the video being a bit late today, my darlings. I usually start my speed builds on a Monday, so I'm usually finished by a Friday. But this kind of came to me. Well, it didn't come to me. You guys wanted me to do it. So I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it for you. And it took a little while to get it done. So do excuse the tardiness. But it's here anyway, you know. And I really like how this came out. I really like the whole... It just feels lived in, this house. I still went with that same kind of like bohemian style on the interiors. And gave everyone a bit of a facelift. So in my head, there was a few sort of years had passed. And the children were older for starters. Sage is now a teenager. And little Clover is now, I reckon she's probably about 9 or 10, something like that. And the parents are aging on, darling. So I wanted to make them look a little bit differently. You might have saw in the little intro that I just did that they've got new hair, they've got new everything. But I wanted to go for like a dark sort of ready brick, I was about to say townhouse then. It's not a townhouse, Hayden, you silly bum. I wanted to go for like a dark sort of like rich bricked kind of looking farmhouse with some wooden siding. And I wanted it to have a thatched roof as well. So that's what we did. And I'm really happy with how it came out towards the end. And I was really liking it even now as I was building this. I just thought it looked really lovely. It's got a nice big downstairs area as well. Put some bifold doors out from the living room. We actually put the living room at the back of the house with this one. And I put the kitchen in the front. I just wanted to play around with a little bit more of a different kind of like floor plan for this farmhouse. And it really worked out nicely. It really did. What other things has it got in it? Oh, it's also got like a little stand and stall where Fern can sell all of her bits and bobs. If you remember, Fern kind of makes her own jewelry. And in my head, I wanted a little bit of character development in there. And I think she like kind of got into painting and stuff as well. And maybe even canning now that she's got like the sort of room to be able to do that and sell her own produce and stuff. So I wanted like a little area where they could sell lots of bits and pieces on this farm. And you'll see that come into play a little bit later on. Yes, you bloody will indeed. How are we all doing? It's Friday, darlings, and the sun is shining in the UK, and I'm feeling marvellous. I really am. Not that I've been able to see much of it today, because I have been finishing off the furnishing to this house. Hence why it's so bloody late. But I am going out on a nice big hike tomorrow. I'm not going to be recording that hike for my other channel. I'm just going to be doing the hike for myself. But I'm going away on Sunday with my best friend to a really lovely tree house. And part of my other channel, I really want to like show some quirky Airbnb stays. So I am going to be recording that. And introducing you to my best friend in the world. And my best friend of 30 years is going to be making her debut on one of my YouTube channels. So I'm very excited. We've got lots of fun things planned. We're going to do that kind of TikTok trend where you sit across from each other and do each other's portrait. We've got a whole lake to ourselves with a boat. So we're going to be out on the lake and we're going to try and go for some wild swimming spots as well. So if you want to join us on that video should be coming up sometime next week on the other channel. But if not, then you don't have to bloody do it. But yeah, anyway, so you can see I already did it with the debug kind of like walls. I fenced the whole lot in. I really wanted this to be snug into the landscape. And it looks really nice. It looks really natural once I'm all done with it as well. It's always a little bit daunting when you've got a lot this size. This is a 50 by 40 lot, by the way. When you've got a lot this size, and you've got to fill it up and make it look natural. Like, that's always a little bit of a daunting prospect in the very beginning. And until you get all of the big elements in there, Like, for example, once I had the stables, the horses stables in, once I had fenced off the crop fields and stuff and mapped out a little area for them to have like a garden, I wanted them to have some decking. Then you slowly start to see your kind of imagination take hold. So don't ever feel like overwhelmed if you've got this big lot and you're like, oh my God, is this going to be awful? Concentrate on little areas. That's what I've always found. Concentrate on little sort of sections of that bigger area and then connect them together naturally and realistically if that's what you're going for. And usually it comes through in the end. It really, really does. And mine did. And I'm very pleased of it. Very pleased of it indeed. I will get this up on the gallery. So if you're watching this, it will be up on the gallery. And as well as some of my other builds that I haven't put up the gallery this week. I just haven't had time to sort of get to the gallery and do everything. So do excuse me, but this will all be up on the gallery for you to enjoy. I've used every single pack here, but there is no custom content. So if you've got all the packs, then you should be fine. If not, you can just get it into your game anyway and put your own stamp on it, you know? The choice is yours, darlings. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh, I'm raising the platforms up because I wanted to do a little bit of decking out from the bedroom downstairs. I actually do a bedroom downstairs and 2 bedrooms upstairs. I wanted the parents to have their own little like private kind of area where they can easily access out from the back and then have their own little terrace as well. So that's what I did there. And I give them a little like breakfast nook where they can come out and sit by themselves, get away from the kids, you know. And yeah, worked out really, really nicely. Did. This house would even look better if they had like more family members and they extended it. Like you could do quite a lot with this. But this is where I'm going with the Evans family. This is where their storyline takes them. It's a shame that they won't be in the save file. But it's in another universe somewhere, you know. This is what their life is going to be, but out of my save file. Get out of my save file. Because I've already pre-planned all of the lots and characters for all of the other places. And their kind of like developed home wouldn't make sense for the storylines and stuff. So yeah, I just couldn't go down that route. I couldn't. Connecting in a little path as well, making sure there's access everywhere. And this is where I start on a greenhouse. I wanted the greenhouse towards the front of the house this time, just because it was nearest the kitchen as well. And you can go in and get some like fresh fruits and herbs and whatever you want. Just worked out really nicely. In the beginning, I'd go for a white one, but it was just standing out a little bit too much. So I actually darkened all of these down to a brown. I just wish they gave us a brown swatch for the kind of like latticed windows. I don't understand why they do. I don't understand the devs like thought processes sometimes. I think it just goes to show you that not a lot of them actually do play the game fully. Because they know if you were a builder, or not play the game, they might play the game, but they don't build in the game. Because if you were a builder and you've got swatches there and you think, shall I put a brown swatch on that? No, let's not bother. Let's put a bit of netting in there instead. Like, that's why, to me, custom content creators are the goats. Don't worry, I do think the devs and stuff are amazing as well, but the way that custom content creators build and buy stuff, you can just tell that they are builders. That's what I think anyway. You can see with the swatches, they know what people are going to like. It's just that thing for me. It really is. Anyway, enough bitching about the devs. We're moving on to the stables. It's all in. I love the game, you know. I love the game. I'm allowed to be passionate about it, and I'm allowed to express my opinions on things as well. That is the thing about living in a free society, you know. But anyway, stables, here we are. I only do one little horse stable. I didn't actually give the Evans family a horse while I was in game, sort of like player testing and stuff. I just left it completely blank, so they can do that in their own time. They're just stuck in this kind of like stasis. I always wonder if the Sims are alive when we're like out doing stuff. Do you know what I mean? And not playing the game. Do you reckon they're just all stood there waiting for us to come back? Not that, but that. That's where my brain goes with things like this. Oh my lord, absolutely silly. This is where I start fencing off all the crop fields. Ignore the fence that I'm putting at the minute. I thought this was going to work, and then I went down like below and I was just like, that doesn't look like farmyard to me, that looks like someone's garden. So I actually changed out the fencing for the one that came with Get Together, I think it came with. And it just looked a little bit more farmland to me rather than this. But I connect all the crop fields together as well, with fences going all the way through. I actually do one field with kind of oversized crops like we're doing here. Then I do one with just normal planters in them. And then in the beginning, I did a kind of cherry orchard, but I decided on taking away a bit of that because I wanted to get a cowshed in. And it was just, I was just like, do you know what? There's no point. These cherry trees will only be kind of like active in the summer anyway. And the fact that I do not wish that in real life, by the way. I love a tree. I would want a tree. But in the game, it just doesn't really give us enough gameplay. I wanted a cow here instead, so that's what I did. And I connected them all around with some stepping stones as well. I was watching a film when I was doing this. Lady in the Van. I don't know how I remember that while I was doing this, but I do. Lady in the Van. I've seen it before. It's with Maggie Smith. It's kind of loosely based on a true story. And it's such a good film. It really, really is. It's kind of set in the 50s or 60s. I think 50s and 60s. Maybe. Is it 50s and 60s? Maybe. But yeah, great film. Let me know if anybody's watched it down in the comments, because I love it. And I would watch Maggie Smith have a poo, to be honest with you. I love her that much. Maybe not that much, actually. I've just had a picture in my head and it is not a good one. I'm going to go into poo talk. Don't you get weirded out? I know they're all only human, like all of these celebrities and stuff, but I always used to think that when I was a kid. I was like, imagine like watching the Queen have a poo. Me and my friends used to just be like, well, it'd be really weird, wouldn't it? Just like the Queen sitting on the toilet having a poo. Why did we tangent off into that? I have no idea, but I went there, and I think that you should all thoroughly think about that. You are welcome. Okay, thank you. So I do all of this terrain painting underneath the cherry orchard. And why? Because we get rid of them, don't we? I put chickens in as well. I did say we got chickens done. I'm sure I did. But I put chickens in over in the corner here to begin with. And I was just like, nah, I really want to have use of this as a little bit more of a bigger field with a cowshed in it as well. We obviously still keep the chickens, but it just made sense. It really did. And I ended up putting in a climbing frame for Clover and also a tent. I wanted to bring that tent that we had in the save file over because they like to camp out, and then they've got their own farmland to be able to do it on now. So I did bring out the tent as well, and you'll see that in a tickety boo. Yes, you will, dude. But yeah, very excited. I do love this build. I really want to play around with it even more. But there's a really nice house going here in the save file. I think this is the lot I'm using. Sure it is, but it's Henford House, and it's part of another very, very well-to-do family. So we're building another really lovely estate house very soon. A lot different to Haddon Hall, but it's going to be looking really nice. I think we're going to do it in like a red sort of brick and go for a bit more of like a what's it called again? Arts and crafts kind of style. I think that's what I want to do. Don't know yet. What? Aiden, can you get your words out? Thank you. We'll see when we actually get to it. Oh my god. Honestly, sometimes I stumble of my words, and I surprise myself that I actually know English, to be honest. But yeah, look at me detailing up this orchard only to demolish it in just a tickety boo. But I think the cowshed looks a lot more kind of organic and with it anyway. So yeah, 3 bee boxes, may I add. They only had 1 in their sort of terraced cottage that they're living in at the minute. But I wanted to, maybe that's where they kind of like learned all about beekeeping and stuff, and then they brought it to the farm. Then they can sell their own honey and stuff. Like, such a good vibe. That would be the dream. I would love that. I really would. Like having a little homestead where you could sell all your, like, I don't know, your jams and stuff. Honestly, that would be the dream. It really would. So, greenhouse. Up, you can see I obviously put in all of the tall planters. And this is just off to the side of the stables. This is where I wanted to do the little kind of selling station, really. A little hut, shall we say. But I actually take away all of the walls and just put pillars there instead. I just thought it looked really nice having that. And then I put a little like awning out the front of it. And then they can sell whatever they want from here. And it's literally by the access or the main gate as well towards the front of the farmhouse. So easy enough to laden with things and then sell at an extortionate amount, like most farm shops do. But I do not begrudge them doing that because I would rather buy from a farm shop than from like Tesco's, you know, greedy corporations. But yeah, it's really cute, really simple, but it does work, and I kind of like it. And this is where I was thinking, well, we're still going to need to have a workshop. So I put on a little extension onto the stable area, and I give Fern her kind of jewelry workshop in this part here. And yeah, it worked out really nicely, actually. Love the redstone. I really like the redstone on this build. I think it works really nicely with all the other elements that we end up putting in it. So this is that little awning. I just put this off to the side there, make it look like a little farm shop area, and then I fill up this area as well. I end up putting in a candle making station in here as well. I reckon she kind of liked it. Just where I put that post there, I put the candle maker there instead. I reckon she developed her skill into candle making as well and started selling that on her Etsy page and whatnot. But yeah, more stable things, some troughs and whatnot. What we're doing now, this is where we actually do get rid of the the orchard and get in the cow farm. And I just like how it came out. I really do. It just feels a lot more, I don't know, it fits a lot more. And I end up putting in the same fence or gate as what we've got out the front to make it look a little bit more like a cow field, you know, and get some nice lovely grass everywhere. And I play around with the terrain paint and pop more grass around as well. But yeah, I just love how this came out. I really do. Very nice. One of my favourite farms I've done in a very long time. And I do build a lot of farms. We should all know that by now. So this is off the main bedroom. As I said, I wanted a little like area for them to have breakfast, but I also wanted a nice big kind of dining table outside. More planters here, just because it was quite close to the kitchen, and then they can come out and grab like fresh herbs and whatnot. Little telescope there as well. Just all very simple stuff, really. Ended up putting some solar panels on top of the roof as well. We need to remember this family was very eco-conscious, so I wanted that to be a thing with this house. But yeah, anyway, into the interiors. So into the front room. Remember, I'm trying to use as many of the same kind of furniture pieces that they had in their cottage, but I just wanted to give everything a little bit of a facelift, so I mix in a few new things here and there. And I just love the vibe of this house when it comes out. It just feels very lived in. It feels very warm and inviting. It really does. Yeah, beautiful. I do love it. I do love the brown as well. We go for the horse ranch wallpaper all throughout the house. Just really wanted it to still have that farmhouse kind of canvas. And then what we're going to do is paint on some details and colours by use of furniture and pictures and stuff. But yeah, and they're well travelled as well. So that's why I wanted to get in lots of like travel posters and just a lot of things that you can imagine being from other countries. And it did work out. And then we got the dining room over here. Gone for some lovely green chairs. The same curtains as what was in the cottage as well. We brought them along. Got to use our hutch in this one. We couldn't use the hutch in the last one because it wasn't big enough for one. But this one is much bigger, which is nice. And the dining room kind of connects right into the kitchen as well. So yeah, very nice. And 2 extra chairs as well in case they have more guests. But yeah, end up moving that archway a little bit more over to the right as well from the cartwheel that we're putting up, just to make the layout of the kitchen work a little bit better. But this is where the kitchen goes. Kitchen does have access to the outside as well, which is nice. But it just came out really nicely. It did. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm thinking about where I'm putting things, I think. I do always make sure to slow down when I go into the interiors as well. I make sure to slow the video down a little bit more so I'm not rushing around everywhere. And usually, especially with speed builds, I do already kind of predetermine and pick out all of the bits and bobs that are going in there anyway. So it just works out beautifully as far as I'm concerned. Yes, indeed. I completely forgot to say we've got a new member. They've got a dog as well. They have got a dog in this house. It is a border collie. I end up putting in a bed right at the end. I did forget the bed, but I did remember to give them their food bowl. But yeah, very nice. I don't think I forgot anything in this build this time. Usually it's a fridge or an oven or something along those kind of lines. But this time I think I managed to put everything in. Apart from a smoke alarm, I think. Yeah, so you might want to get a smoke alarm in because they might die. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out the cupboards here as well. I wasn't sure where I wanted to put everything. But we end up just going down this side here, I think. Even though that those like objects copying that shelf. I still put it in anyway. It was fine. I just makes my eye hurt, but sometimes you've just got to you've just got to accept the Sims for what they are, really. And as much as it pains me to say it, more little things in here as well. Make sure to get their kettle and everything, and their pressure cooker from the old house. And I wanted to just chuck in a little bit of greener detail and stuff into here. We've some plants around the windows, some spices. They do make all of their own like food and stuff, so food is very important. So I made sure to get all of that in. But yeah, I do like how this came out. The kitchen's very nice. And it's kind of nice to put the kitchen. What is the kitchen? It's kind of a nice change to put the kitchen at the front of the house as well. For my kind of floor plans, I usually leave the kitchen for the back, just because, well, in British houses, that's where they usually end up. But I was just like, do you know what? We're doing it different this time. And then to the hallway, just something very simple. You need to remember that they're out in the countryside, so a really nice hallway with places where they can hang all of their bits and bobs and storage and all of that kind of good stuff at wellies and whatnot. So I made sure to squeeze all of that around as well. But yeah, and then there's a nice bathroom downstairs and exactly the same shape and style of bathroom on the upstairs as well. So nice big bathrooms, each with baths and showers and everything. So it's a nice family home. It really, really worked out to be a nice family home. But yeah, and then this is the bedroom, the main bedroom. So keeping the kind of farmhouse aesthetic, but I just hit it with a few bohemian influences with like plants and textures and patterns and a bit more of a brighter color aesthetic with the curtains and things. I think it works out quite nicely. Really does. Everything feels like homemade and stuff in this house. And I can imagine that being the case with this family. They're very talented bunch. They really are. And Sage aged up to be a very handsome sim as well. I don't know if you've seen him in properly in the beginning, but he grew into a lovely looking lad. He really did. But yeah, always nice when that happens, and you don't have to go in and edit their kind of no chins and. So this is Sage's room anyway. So teen, I wanted it to be a little bit grown up. He took on the trait of love outdoors. He got that from his family. So he tends to be out a little bit, but I still wanted to give him a laptop and stuff to like be online and sort of connect with his friends and things like that. But I didn't put any TV in this house. It didn't like make sense with the family that live here. They're very much not into television. They think it's the devil. Well, not really. They just don't really watch it. But I still wanted to give him a little bit of access to the world outside, considering he's a teenager, you know. Very important for development as far as I'm concerned. And then into Clover's bedroom. So very simple. She's a creative, so I made sure to give her lots of bits and bobs for that to be able to become a reality. But that's it, my darlings. Thank you so much for watching. You're going to go and watch a little cheeky video tour now. I will be back again on Tuesday with the final part of the Evans household for Let's Build the World. And then we'll move on to the last household for Cobble Bottom Row. But that's it, my darlings. Thank you so much for watching. See you on Tuesday.